Okay. To start out this video, I have some questions. Do you like metal? What about funk? Maybe jazz? Maybe even fucking clown music? What about doo-wop or pop or punk or okay, you get the fucking point. If you like any of these genres, you'll likely find something for you from Mr. Bungle. Mr. Bungle is a experimental band that is unfortunately from California. They formed in 1985 as a death metal band. I'm not sure what to make of that. Members Mike Patton, Trevor Dunn, Trace Bruance, Theo Langell, Clint McKinnon, and Jed Watts, who was later replaced with Hans Wagner, and then Danny Heifetz, released 4 demos in between 1986 and 1989, all of which having various influences including ska, funk, and jazz. And if you think that's weird, you are not ready for this band yet. As the demos went on, these influences became more and more obvious until the band's music couldn't even be considered death metal. These demos got the attention of both Faith No More, who made Mike Patton their vocalist because of them, and Warner Bros., who then signed them. Yeah, the major label signed a band who made a song called The Girls of Porn. The self-titled debut would then be released in 1991 under Warner Bros. And was produced by legendary Avant-Garde jazz/hardcore artist John Zorn. The album was praised by critics, and all music described them as schizophrenically hopping from genre to genre with no pattern whatsoever. This is exactly why people love this album. It had a single approach and didn't take itself seriously, unlike many other avant-garde bands. Seriously, if you're gonna play random goofy shit, do it with, like, your dick. Like Clowncore. To say this album is amazing is an understatement. It's fun, unique, and well made, and most importantly, sounds good. Looking at you, Captain Beefheart. If you're looking for something funkier than funk, this album is for you. But if you're looking for meaningful lyrics, look elsewhere. There's an entire song on this album about having sex with food, Betty Crocker, and other shit associated with cooking. After the self-titled album, Mr. Bungle would take 4 years to release their next album, Disco Volante. This album is my favorite from their discography, and may very well be one of my favorite albums of all time. Disco Volante is a very different album from self-titled, and while that album was described as funk metal more often than not, Disco Volante can't even be described with anything other than, like, experimental or inescapable horrors beyond our imagination. This album is, quite frankly, schizo as fuck. Lyrics on this album range from Another Summer Rolls By, and I Can't Help But Feel Pain, all those familiar faces come back to haunt me again, to, Break Like a Child's Mouth, to Fartin', Pissin', and Stroking My Fucking Dick. The sound of the album ranges from doo-wop to metal to whatever the fuck the second half of the Benz is. There's even a techno song on here. If you like super experimental shit, you'll probably like this album, and even if you don't, I mean, you still might. Usually I would hate an album like this, but for some reason Mr. Bungle makes me absolutely love it. I'm not sure I'd recommend it as the album to start with for Mr. Bungle, though. That album would be California. California was released in 1999 and is noticeably tamer than either of their previous releases. While self-titled went all the way with the funk and the metal, and Disco Volante went all the way with the experimental avant-garde, California goes all the way with the doo-wop. It's definitely not a very experimental album, and if you're a metalhead like me, it'll probably be your least favorite release from them, but it is a good starting point. It has some heavier songs like Mars Moriarty or None of Them Knew They Were Robots, but most of the album, including those 2 songs, are more swinger ska oriented. The best way I can describe this album is elevator music for insane people. While I believe this is their weakest release, Mr. Bungle kicks enough ass to not have any bad albums, so it's still worth listening to. The most notable thing about it is that it was Mr. Bungle's last album until 2020, as they would disband in 2000. When they came back, it wasn't for new material, but rather for a re-recording of their first demo, The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. It was a pretty decent listen, but it's not exactly anything super special. I like it more than California just because it lines up more with my taste, but it has the same problem of not doing anything experimental or interesting. If you liked Mr. Bungle's other releases, you will probably feel indifferent to this one, as it's just death metal with some interesting influences. If you heard the original demo or pretty much anything else from that era, it's just an improved version. The best songs on this release are some of my favorites from them, though, so you have to at least listen to Anarchy Up Your Anus. So Mr. Bungle is awesome, but why do I love them as much as I do? The original Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny logo is even my phone's wallpaper and lock screen. Well, you stupid little baby piece of shit, it's not just me. Everyone who knows Mr. Bungle likes them, or at least tolerates them as far as I know. I think the reason for that is because while they're experimental, they know when to stop with their bullshit. They manage to actually sound good, unlike a lot of these other avant-garde bands. They're also one of the most influential bands I can think of, with the entirety of nu metal being inspired by them, for better or for worse. Everyone's always arguing who did the masks and jumpsuits first, Mushroomhead or Slipknot, but everyone's fucking retarded because it was Mr. Bungle. As a matter of fact, Mushroomhead is very obviously influenced by Mr. Bungle, since they started out trying to be them, and actually succeeding before going to nu metal, releasing only one more good album in the rest of their career. It's not just new metal, by the way. A lot of genres are influenced by Mr. Bungle, including their original influences like jazz and funk. We probably wouldn't have the groovy shit we have now if Mr. Bungle never existed. While with their influence, they never really took themselves too seriously. Their approach to music was so sarcastic, but it worked out so well for them. They aren't afraid to make fun of people they don't like, even if it's the most popular funk band in the world, like Red Hot Chili Peppers. They never got stupidly full of themselves like a lot of other bands that got success. As a matter of fact, in an interview with Bandcamp, Mike Patton said singers are fucking idiots. They think they own the fucking show, but they don't, okay? That's one thing I learned over the years. All you gotta do is sit back and be part of the fucking band. I don't care what you think about Mike Patton. That is a good take, and a mindset not enough vocalists have. Keep in mind this is coming from a singer with a 6-octave range and perfect pitch, which most people could only dream of. I recommend Mr. Bungle to anyone watching this video who hasn't heard of them before. There's legitimately something in there for everyone, and you should be able to find at least one song you like in their discography. I want to lock Betty Crocker in the kitchen and knock her upper during supper. Same song, I was giving some head to some French bread. Take a look in the mirror and see the clown and you say, did I just get roasted by a Mr. Bungle song? It's not funny, my ass is on fire. It's beyond my control. I'm coming. A favorite of mine I mentioned earlier, fartin', pissin', and stroking my fucking dick. Like Patton having a mental breakdown over platypuses. Amphibious, paradox wearing plaid socks, furry beetle, a bugbear, and a paleozoologist note. These aren't even lyrics, it's Mike Patton having a fucking stroke. California doesn't have any funny lyrics because it sucks. I said that wrong 100%. Motherfuckers now be screaming, kill my dick, leave my balls behind, and cut your balls and leave your prick behind are just some of the lyrics on Bungle Grind. Pissing all over, shit on the rug, wait, wrong bit.
Pissing, stroke.